So hello people, how you going today? My name is Glenn. Today we're going to talk about race and we're going to see what the left and right perspective is on it. So on the right we have Glenn, who's from the right, and on the left we have Glenn, who is from the left. So let's get on to it, shall we? We'll start off with the right. What do you think about race? So, hello people. Thank you, Glenn, for inviting me. So, we want to talk about race. Well, race is something that is defined all over the world. So we have the Australians, white Australians. I'm a white Australian, see? White as white can be. And we have Africans who are black, or maybe different shades of brown, depending on whatever. And then we have Asians, which are yellow. We have American Indians, which are red. So, we have different types of races. Now speak. Well, a lot of them speak different languages as well. So, how can we describe race? Well, basically, I subscribe to white race because that is the right race. And I am not really interested in associating myself with any other race, especially the Muslims, because the Muslims always lie. They always lie. That's it. Words come out of their mouth. It's a lie. Even if they think it's the truth, it's a lie. So if they say car's red, and the car's red, they're lying. The car's not red, even though it's red. So, whatever a Muslim says is a lie. And no, I'm not being racist. I am just being subjective. And if you can't take criticism, like, I don't know, you being a black cunt or something, then that is your problem. You have to be able to take criticism. So, when I say that white people should be the dominant race, I really mean it, because all of current civilization is based on things that white people have done. So white people deserve to have the credit. And I do not subscribe to this justice warrior crap, because quite honestly, women belong in the kitchen. And I don't see why they should be treated as equals, just like we treat everyone else as equals. And no, I'm not sexist. This is part of nature. Nature subscribes that people are not equal. So, the white race is more superior than the other races. That's naturally the way it is. And women are not as superior as men. That's why men dominate everything. So, in conclusion, well, I'm not racist. I just don't want to hang around with anyone that's not white. And also, I'm not sexist, even though women belong in the kitchen. And I'm not homophobic, even though I don't like homos, and I don't want anything to do with them. And they're not allowed to have marriage, because marriage equality just sucks. So, I hope that brings about your understanding of what the right stands for on race. So thank you very much. We'll hand it over to the wanker over on the left. So, thank you to the right motherfucker. Hope he gets run over. So, what does the left subscribe as race? Well, race is an artificial construct of, current science. There's very little genetic information that separates people of different races. So Asians, Africans, white Europeans from each other. And genetically we're very close. And we're also very close to chimpanzees. So we are related to chimpanzees and gorillas. And evolutionary, we have a very well-founded evidentiary line that subscribes that race doesn't exist, because we are all descendant of the current ancestor species. And I would prefer to actually class it as subspecies. So you have different subspecies depending on the species, and they can all interact and interbreed, but there are just minor variations that might change the colour of its fur, in humans' case the skin, the eyes, the nose, but they are very superficial. What the right classes as race is generally based on a racist idea that one race is superior than another, but generally that's not the case. You give each race the resources of every other race, and they will do just as well as any other race. But in current society, it really depends on the government as well, because they're the ones that actually allocate those resources. So if they don't allocate them in an efficient manner, then obviously there will be differences in the outcome of events. So in the left, we support equality of outcome. So that means each race deserves to have the same outcome as the dominant race. So I'm in Australia. So the Australian Indigenous population, like the Wurundjeri, the Yolngu Matha, the Warlpiri, deserve to have the same outcome as the Anglo-Australians. And the same with the large amount of immigrants that we got. So something like a quarter of all Australians identify as having at least one parent that comes from overseas, and the equality should just be there. Just remember, everyone has a right to die en masse without race being involved. And that's what we're on the left, because the right. So the right like to kill people based on race. We left like to kill people based on their material possessions and status in their life. So that's basically the extreme left take on race. It's artificial, there is none. Everyone deserves a fair go. So, I thank you very much, and have an awesome day, people, because you never know. So, people, that is what we define on the extreme left and the extreme right as being race. Me and myself being in the centre, I can see how, well, neither side really. And I can actually see both sides. So race is genetically not well defined, but it is also constructed by humans to separate people into categories. And they call it identity politics, and the left and right actually do it, but with different things. They do use race as a separation barrier, but the left do it to try and empower those races who are marginalised, and the right do it to make sure that the dominant race is still dominant, while marginalising the smaller races, the ones with less population. So basically the right kill people, mass murder people, based on race, and the left do it based on material possessions. Although Stalin did deport the Chechens for supposedly supporting Germany, which I doubt it, most of them actually did. So, there is positive and negative on both sides. So, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you get offended, well, stiff shit. Hooroo.